You ever meet those folks who treat God like he's the Wizard of Oz, pulling levers behind a curtain, deciding which toddler gets leukemia and which megachurch pastor gets a private jet? Yeah, we're burning that theology down today. I'm Theology Jack, your guide in exploring life's biggest questions and mysteries. For a lot of people, God is basically a divine marionette master. Everything happens for a reason, they say, usually right after something truly awful has happened to someone else. There's this weird comfort in believing someone's in control, even if that someone apparently schedules tsunamis, cancer, and late-stage capitalism. But what if that's not the deal? What if God isn't orchestrating every awkward breakup, job rejection, or meteor crash? What if he's not a control freak with a heavenly spreadsheet? Welcome to the open and relational view of God, where God isn't pulling strings, but is actually in this wild mess with us. And when you realize that, stuff shifts big time. So let's say your roommate eats your leftovers again. Are you going to say, God must be teaching me patience? Or maybe, just maybe, your roommate is a selfish raccoon in a human hoodie. The cosmic puppeteer version of God turns every human screw up into a divine object lesson. Flat tire? God wants you to slow down. Your dog dies? God needed another angel, which, by the way, is terrible theology. Dogs don't become angels. Angels don't even become dogs. Let's stay in our metaphysical lanes. But in open and relational theology, God doesn't micromanage. God influences, invites, and sometimes pleads, but doesn't override. God isn't the reason you forgot your anniversary or why Karen at work is unbearable. That's you. That's people. And weirdly, that's freeing. It means you can stop spiritualizing every inconvenience like it's a message from on high and start dealing with life like life. If God's not pulling all the strings, then what exactly are we praying for? Is this just celestial venting? Should we just scream into the abyss? Nope. Actually, prayer becomes a lot more like collaboration. Imagine that. God isn't your divine vending machine. Press B4 for healing. Or your celestial butler. Bring me comfort and a new iPhone. God is more like a dance partner who waits for you to move so that they can respond. In this model, prayer isn't about convincing God to do something he already decided not to do. It's about participating in what's possible, co-creating, aligning with divine love as it tries to birth something good in a chaotic, free world. So yeah, you can still pray for miracles, but it's less about manipulating God and more about joining forces, which, bonus, means you can stop using prayer as a procrastination tool. God, please fix my marriage, while you continue to be a stubbornly, emotionally unavailable cactus. Nah. Pray and go to therapy. You know that awkward thing Christians say when tragedy hits? Well, it's all part of God's plan. As if God's up there with a clipboard going, yes, Steve will lose his job on the 17th. Excellent. And a sprained ankle by the 22nd? Divine. If God's the author of your pain, then hope becomes masochism. But in open theism, God responds to what's happened. Nothing is pre-written. It's jazz, not symphony. dynamic, not deterministic. And that means your choices, they matter, like actually matter. This also means that God is constantly improvising with us. Think divine jazz solo, not pre-programmed GPS. Recalculating isn't failure, it's divine flexibility. And maybe the best part of all, it turns faith into a partnership, not a puppet show. You're not on stage with God holding the strings. You're at the writer's table, pen in hand. Weird plot twist. Letting go of the idea that God controls everything doesn't lessen God's love, it amplifies it. Because think about it. Anyone can fake love if they're also controlling the outcome. But real love, the kind that's raw and risky and not guaranteed to be reciprocated, that's gutsy. That's God. In open and relational theology, God chooses not to override your freedom, even if it breaks his heart. God chooses love over control every time. That's not weakness, that's divine courage. And when tragedy hits, God isn't some aloof sky grandpa watching it all for a reason. God's right there, crying with you, bleeding with you, whispering possibilities into the wreckage, hoping you'll say yes. Honestly, that's kind of God wrecks you in the best way. Because now suffering isn't cosmic punishment or divine chess. It's the price of a world where love is real and God refuses to force anything. When you stop imagining God as the divine puppet master, you start realizing something quietly revolutionary. You're not just a passive character in a divine drama. You're a co-creator in this bizarre, beautiful, terrifying story. And that means being human is a big freaking deal. Your choices ripple. Your actions carry divine weight. The way you love your neighbor or don't actually shapes reality. But here's the kicker. As you lean into this divine human dance, you also start realizing that you're reflecting something sacred. Imago Dei isn't just religious poetry, it's a job description. You're a mirror, a mouthpiece, a maker of meaning. You're not here to be controlled, you're here to co-create. And that changes everything. Quick reminder, explorers, click like just to be cool. Doesn't take anything. And hey, if you like this kind of stuff, hit subscribe for more. Let's map ideas that can change the world together. So what if God isn't pulling your strings? What if he's dancing next to you, waiting to see what you'll create together? What does that mean for how you pray, how you suffer, how you live? Drop your take in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. Thanks for watching till the end, fellow explorers. Stay curious and embrace the mystery. This is Theology Jack, signing off.